Hello, everybody. All right. Rick, if you want to talk to the chat for a moment, I need to step out for just a quick moment. I'll be right back.
Okie dokie, Smokey. Well, how are you all there, chat? I hope you're doing fine tonight. Well, doesn't look like anybody's here yet, so I'm not sure what to say. Um, Entertain you somehow. Well, we are going to be doing some comic book stuff. Um, this week I'm going to be doing a sidekicks of my whatchamacallit, silhouette game. I'll have to let people know that tomorrow. So, yeah, hopefully everybody is going to be there. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. The cat, one of our cats was outside my door meowing, so I was trying to check and see what was going on. That's why I did. Sorry, I didn't mean to put you on the spot like that, Rick.
Oh, no problem, no problem.
All right. Well, with that being said, I heard you were actually promoting your silhouette game, right?
Yeah, you're just saying. I think it's something to say.
Again, sorry, I put you on the spot like that. I just the cat
no
was
problem,
meowing.
no problem.
Had to figure out what it was meowing for. But with that being said, well, everybody, welcome to the Mikestand. Today is, of course, Sunday, May the 5th, 2025. This is, of course, Sundays now are.
Did you say May the 5th?
I'm sorry, May the 11th. Thank you, Rick. I get my brain's a little screwy, I guess, right now. But anyways,
okay, I just wanted to make sure I was here right.
Well,
then it was gonna correct.
Because you kind of remind me. Well, no, it's not May the 5th. It's May the 11th. Anyways, today is May the 11th, Sunday, May the 11th. So I hope everybody's had a good weekend. Of course, this is our weekly look at comics that went on sale in May. Right now, we're focusing in, of course, on comics that went on sale in May of 1940, the historical comic retrospect. This week, we'll be focusing in on Fox Feature Syndicate. So if you guys can help out by liking and sharing the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people in here to engage, that'd be appreciated. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions, and I'll try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. Now, before we get started, and before I hand it over to Rick again to give his introduction and all that, there is one piece of non-comics news I do need to kind of go over real quick here. Normally this is something I wouldn't do, but this is kind of a big thing, so that's why I'm doing it. So it was announced earlier today the passing of former ECW World Champion Sabu. Many of you who particularly watched wrestling back in the 90s and early 2000s probably remember him from his time in ECW, as well as, of course, his brief stints in WCW, WWE, and TNA. He's known as the homicidal, genocidal, suicidal, known for his hardcore wrestling matches. I don't know if it was for real or if it was just simply kayfabe, part of a storyline, but it was said he was the nephew of the original Sheik, longtime wrestler in the Midwest territory, particularly out of Detroit. Known, of course, Sabu is also known for his tag team with RVD, and for such moves as the Arabian Press and the Arabian leg drop. But he passed away today at the age of 60. So what we're going to do now, for just a quick moment, we're going to observe a moment of silence for former ECW World Champion Sabu. All right. So condolences, of course, to Sabu's family. May they have peace and resolve in this time of his passing. All right. So with that out of the way now, Rick, I'm going to hand it off to you. You want to introduce. You know the shtick, right? You know the shtick.
Yeah.
You want to introduce yourself, all that.
As the signs say, I am Rick, and I am the founder and creator of Cross Comics. That is a comic company I created. We do Christian superhero comic books, and we also have a YouTube channel, so you can check that out. This link there. Yes. Just all I'm gonna say for now. Go check it out.
And any updates on anything you're working on right now?
Well, hopefully by the end of the summer or sooner, I will be starting a campaign for Canadian Shield 3. That's something that's changed. Instead of drawing up in Sector 1, right now I am coloring up the Shield number 3, Canadian Shield number 3 on Saturdays now.
All right.
A couple of my other, depending on how fast I want to get done, a couple of my other programs might turn into that too.
All right. Anything more you want to add before we move on?
Not that I can think of it this time.
All right. So what we're going to do now, then, I guess we will get started on our feature presentation, as it were. We get into
the Fox. What is the Fox? Or am I thinking of a different one where they had all that music playing beforehand?
All right, so we're going to start off, of course, with Fantastic Comics number 8, July 10th. We're going to read Samson.
Mighty Samson.
Yeah, and from what I understand, the title of this story is the plot of, I think it's Prince or King something Diablo. Part of the reason, obviously, with the Judeo-Christian imagery and all that, I figured it should be a story you might be interested in reading, Rick.
Yeah.
All right, so
we'll see how fantastic this tale is.
Samson destroys the Mask of Fire. Yank Wilson, Stardust, Sub Saunders. Boys, girls, send today for the amazing new Comic Scope. Regular U.S. Patent Office, patent pending, patent. Practically a gift. Not a toy, but a real projector. AC or DC current. Screen your favorite comics in full color. A new invention. Show your own films at home. Charge admission. Run real movie parties. Now, for the first time, you can use comic strips in Comic Scope and screen them in any size and full color. So for back then, back in 1940, that must have been a real thrill of an idea.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, long before Grant Wade Lawrence's Marvel Superheroes of 1966. It was 26 years before that.
It'd be almost like what we're doing now.
Yeah, in a way.
Except not reaching into a whole bunch of homes around the world.
Yeah.
Or possibly. So everybody's coming to your home.
Right.
And we don't charge admission.
Yeah. Fantastic Comics, page 1, Samson. The mighty Samson defends Europe from a tyrannical plot by vicious royalists in a war-torn world. By Alex Boone. All right, so let's figure it exactly. Okay. Prince Fernando Diablo mobilizes a highly mechanized force at a street hideout in the Pyrenees. Aided by unscrupulous members of Europe's royal families, the prince plans to divide Europe into monarchies and to cast the people back in a state of serfdom. Wow, they're talking about interesting here how they're talking about somebody trying to take over Europe and turn it into monarchy when you got Hitler active at that point in time.
Yeah.
Night and day, highly paid scientists concoct dead poisons to aid the plot, or dread poisons to aid the plot.
Hey, Fitzchozo.
Hey, Fitzchozo's here.
Yeah.
Hey, Fitzchozo, welcome to the stream. If you haven't already, if you can help out by liking and sharing the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people in here to engage. That'd be appreciated. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions, and I'll try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. Oh, with that being said, let's continue on here. The Central Committee hold the secret meeting in an underground stronghold. Rick, you want to be Prince Diablo here?
It's the time will still come. Soon be ripe for our attack. We're waiting for word from our agent Lola Perez. Meanwhile, our scientists have been at work. Here, gentlemen, is a specimen of germ culture that should arouse your interest. And hello, Fizzpop. What?
Yeah, I guess Fizz. Hi, the Fizzozo corner. I guess it's Fizzpop. Hello, Fizzpop. Welcome to the stream. Hopefully, hope you enjoy the show.
Two fizzes in the chat. Greetings, Rick and Mike.
Greetings there, Fizzpop.
Yes, greetings, Mike. These fats contain enough germs to destroy all of Europe.
The microscope shows the countless death-dealing microbes. Look at those microbes, Rick. And the skull and crossbones right in front of them.
Yeah.
They really try and tell you that that's poison, aren't they?
Yeah. Our germ-shooting tanks will deliver their cargo first in Paris.
Meanwhile, the warring armies have almost exhausted themselves. See, I think the end of the war is near. And did the other guy there?
Duh. The people of all the nations are ready to stop it.
War-weary, poverty-stricken people are anxious to see the end of this war. In Paris, the beautiful spy Lola Perez rides home from the opera with her escort, Major Henry Duchamp of the French army. Yes, my dear. The armistice will soon be signed. No country has the strength to keep fighting. And you notice how they're in that long car. It almost looks like they're not. It doesn't seem like they're sitting. It's more like they're laying down almost. You see that?
I'd say they're still sitting because you can tell their bodies are
Yeah, I
the
mean they're
torso.
perpendicular, but it just looked a little bit more like they're more like because usually when you're sitting, even your legs are at a 90-degree angle, but they got their legs kind of stretched out like that.
Yeah, well, it almost would look like they're sitting on the floor with their
Yeah.
backs to the wall. Although his legs seem slightly bent
Mm-hmm.
for the act of sitting, although this seems to be somewhat of a limo of their day.
Yeah. Let's see. You want to do the guy right there, the major?
Okay. Good night, Lola. Let us hope for peace.
Hmm. Oh, I'm sorry. I should have done that because I was him.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking that.
Sorry about that. Good night, Lola. Let us hope for peace. Sorry about that. Because I was gonna do Lola, but then I forgot that I had already started doing the major as well there. Lola makes a call on a private wire. Prince Fernando, the armistice will be signed. I approve that the armies are too weak to fight on.
Good Lola. Good Lola. You, you have done well. Your job well. We shall be in Paris within 48 hours. The underground tanks will leave at once.
From their hiding places roll the huge tanks, their great spirals cutting into the ground. Wow, look at that.
Yeah, drills. And I'll be back in hopefully less than a minute. I gotta use the facilities.
All right. So how is everybody? We have another thing from Fizz Pop here. Let me see what he's saying here. You never have enough fizz. Yeah. Whoop, 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 whoop. Let's see now. So I'm just waiting for Rick to come back before we continue reading. So again, guys, if you haven't already, if you guys can help out by liking and sharing the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people to engage. That'd be appreciated. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions. I'll try to answer. We'll try to answer the questions to the best of our ability. I guess since the next couple guess I can continue on at least until we get to more dialogue here. Peace signed. The war-weary populace rejoices at the good news. Deep into the earth bore the tanks and speed underground into the north of France. Let's see, did I just hear Rick come back?
Yeah, I'm back.
All right. All right. Oh. Alex Boone is a pen name for Alex Blum. He was an award-winning classical artist. After he retired, he was struggling and went into comics to make a living. Well, that would have been ripe around the time here because again towards the end of the Depression here, a lot of people were struggling still. But anyways,
yeah, I like these drills. They're fairly flat. they don't come to a real point. And my only other thing is, how the heck do they have some sort of GPS to know where they're going underground? It's not like you can actually really see. How do you keep on the straight and narrow to get to your destination?
This story is written by either Will Eisner or Tony Bloom, Alex Bloom's daughter. Well, I think Alex Boone was actually the one who was credited in the story here. So, what we just saw earlier. So, but anyways, getting back to the story here. Let's see. The citizens of Paris are terrified by the sudden attack from below the streets, by the formidable monsters. At that same moment, in Professor Brun's laboratory, the disastrous scene flashes on his televisor. You want to be Professor Bloom right there?
Samson, your help is needed in Paris.
There's no time to lose. Transport me there on your demoleculating machine. Try saying that 3 times fast. A demoleculating machine, I guess, meaning a.
And it's not machine; it's demoleculating ray.
Demoleculating ray.
What do we think this is? Star Trek?
In a few seconds, Samson arrives in the French capital. The tank guns have already spewed forth enough germ fire to kill hundreds of civilians. Look at that! Now that's got to be quite terrifying to be looking at, being confronted with, having that like kind of grayish, cloudy ooze coming at you. Like, get me away from that! I don't think I want any of that. Right, Rick?
Yeah. Well, and I guess that's why they did it.
What was that?
I forget what I was going to say exactly. So.
You started, and then you went to a mumble, and that's why I was like.
Yeah, I went to a mumble because my mind went sort of blank on what I wanted to say, but so I was trying to think of something, but couldn't. So.
Peaceful citizens lie dead, victims of the fatal bacteria. But Samson walks directly into the path of the advancing tank. Pleasant little contraption. With tremendous force, Samson rips the devilish machines apart, stopping the attack. Later, Professor Brun appears in Paris. You are Professor Brun.
Oh yeah. Take this. It contains a gas that will destroy the microbe culture.
Samson leaps to the rooftops. You all right there, Rick?
Yeah.
Over the entire stricken city, he sprays the germ-killing gas. A message from the Pyrenees brings Lola into action. Well, it probably came from. So, why don't you read the little note there? Because I think that would have came from.
It's Samson. All his strength is in his hair.
Help! Help! Oh, I feel faint. The germs. Please take me home. 17 Rue Claire. Samson falls for the ruse. He carries her home. Lola prepares to carry out the order from Diablo stealthily. She slips behind him. I feel better now, my dear. Oh yeah, she got her hand on his hair.
Yeah, you might as well just have called her Delilah.
Yeah, that would have been interesting, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
You got Lord Diablo, you got Samson, and this Delilah wannabe. But Samson,
I love how they assume this guy's strength is in his hair just because he's named Samson. I don't know whether it is or not because I don't follow it that much.
Well, if you remember, because I think you were with me when we read the first Samson story, he's supposedly a direct descendant of the original Samson.
Yeah, but I forget whether it said that he had that or not. The hair, the long hair. Well, not the long hair, but if it would be cut, take away his strength.
Yeah. I mean, but Samson sees the trap and seizes her hand. Pulling away, Lola tries to escape. Not so fast, young lady. You're not going to get away with this. Samson catches the fleeing spy and holds her firmly. Now tell me who you are. Tell me who are you working for? Whoever they are, they're murderous villains, and a girl like you shouldn't be associated with them. Now, who are they? The royalist, Prince Diablo, is their leader. I thought they would help to restore peace, but perhaps I was wrong. Look, Lola, those men have brought only ruin and suffering. Come, take me to them. Now I understand that I was wrong. We must hurry before more tanks are sent. They charter a plane. There is a hit. Oh, here we go again with the misaligning of the tail of the thing. It's right over his head, but it should be more over her head. You see that, Rick?
Yeah, I see it. It looks to me. It could.
I mean, it could like on a very, very, very thin line. Yes, it could be pointing to the back of her head, but it's like right over his, unfortunately. So it doesn't make it seem like he's the one who's saying that. But I think it's pretty easy to figure out it's her.
Yeah, and it should have probably been moved forward a bit, just to do it doubly sure. But I think it even with it like, where it is, I'd say it goes to her.
What they were trying to do was where my right hand, so I'm just like where my finger is the edge of his forehead. What I think they were trying to do is they were trying to do something like this, get it this close. They just had it back too far.
Yeah, I think that they would have angled it a little different if it was for him, but
yeah.
Fitzchozo says, how does he inherit Samson's powers? Just by being Samson's umpteenth number grandson.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember because it's been a while since we've read the story, but basically it was said earlier on that he was a descendant of the original. And Rick, you were with me when we read the first story too.
Yeah,
you probably remember that too.
I remember them being the descendant. I think he just inherited them. He always had them. But unfortunately, the person that wrote this, they didn't read the Bible very well because it's supposed to be when the Spirit of the Lord comes upon him. It all depends. There's a lot in conjunction with God on his powers and how they operate it.
Is the power of Samson just in the part of the Jewish bloodline? Yeah.
I guess so. We're not
I
sure.
mean, it could be, because even as RJ and I have talked about before on some of these shows, a lot of the comic book creators back then were Jewish background. That's why you had a lot of the comic stories that did have a lot of depictions of like Hitler and like America trying to get into the war. I mean, you just look at like quality comic stuff, right? A lot of the stuff like with Dollman, Doctor, Uncle Sam, and all that.
I wouldn't even say God gave him the powers. He just has them. I don't think God was really involved in it at all, from what I remember.
Well, the thing was that his, I think if I remember correctly from the Bible,
well, yeah,
God did tell him, or tell his mother, and his mother, of course, told him that God said this: "Your hair is not to be cut." So
yeah, he was set apart to be a Nazarene, which means he couldn't drink alcohol, he couldn't cut his hair, and there was a couple other things too. So, that's what the original. Now this one, like I said, I don't know what it is for him. I can't remember from the first episode, or even if they went into it, how he got it.
Yeah.
Oh, I've never read them.
He's a direct descendant of Samson, so they're going on the idea that since he's a direct descendant of Samson,
that he would just be able to inherit the powers.
Yeah. So, there is the hidden fortress. Two figures watch the ship descend. Okay, you want to read that, guy?
Lola Perez, Samson is with her. She has betrayed us.
Leaping from behind a rock, the prince's men pounce upon the unsuspecting pair. Look! You got four guys there on one man and woman. Let's see how Samson responds here.
He throws them over the edge. Things are getting edgy. They're really on the ledge.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get an idea of what. But Samson whirls upon them, sweeping them aside with his amazing strength. Quickly, he throws men over the cliff. Yeah, that's got to be a kind of a very ghastly way to die, being thrown off a cliff like that. But during the fight, Lola is captured.
I know you might not have read the Bible, but have you seen any cartoons or whatever that for the stories, Fitzjoseph?
Well, let's see. In terms of animated form, I know there have been like a few over the years, like Superbook from CBN back in the 80s.
Yeah.
They they depicted the story.
Yeah.
And in the 2000s, there was a, I guess, focus on the family's done some stuff. I think there
Yeah.
was.
Then there's the ones in the 80s from Hanna-Barbera.
Well, okay, the Hanna-Barbera, Samson and Goliath from that had nothing. That I don't think had anything to do with.
Davy and
It had
Goliath.
absolutely nothing to do with the biblical Samson, or had very little to do with it. I mean, what the guy did was he clapped his wristbands together, and
What
what
are you talking about?
The Hanna-Barbera cartoon Samson and Goliath.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. In the 80s, Hanna-Barbera, I'm pretty sure it was Hanna-Barbera, put out a bunch of stories with 3 kids that ended up through some memes going back in time.
Oh no! I think I know what you're talking about.
The greatest stories ever.
Not Hanna-Barbera. That was not Hanna-Barbera. You're talking about. Sounds like you're talking about like Superbook and Flying House.
No,
those were done by like.
This was not
TBA.
Superbook. This was not Superbook. Let's see.
No,
greatest.
Superbook's the only one I know of that was back in the 80s there. And Superbook and Flying House. Superbook focused on the Old Testament stories. Flying House focused on the New Testament stories.
Yeah, the greatest. The greatest adventures, stories from the Bible. Yeah, it was Hanna-Barbera.
Okay, that one. Yeah, there was that one too. So I guess, yeah. So, but
there was a total of 15.
There have been a number of different animated stories. Now, there was Hanna-Barbera also did a cartoon back in the 60s called Samson and Goliath, but they were not really connected to the biblical Samson.
Yeah.
Basically, the guy would clip his wristbands together, and he'd go from being like a teenager to like, a bulky man, and his, I think his dog or something like that would become a lion. Try figuring that one out.
Yeah, but Fist Fop, he does get blinded, but that's after they cut his hair, they pluck out his eyes and all that. There's more to the story than just obviously he grows up without having to cut his hair, and he's not allowed to drink, and there's another thing because he was supposed to be dedicated as a Nazarene, and then God would come upon him at certain times and give him super strength, if you will, and durability. He slew like a whole bunch, like 1,000 Philistines with a jawbone. He caught some foxes and
the jawbone of a what? Rick, the jawbone of a what?
An ass.
Jawbone of an ass. Now, in this particular case, we're using it in its proper context, so it's not.
Which means basically a donkey.
Right.
So yeah, there was a bunch of things. Yeah, he definitely did He did a bunch of different things against the Philistines. He had a couple girlfriends. One ended up being Delilah, who was a Philistine herself, and she got paid off to try and get the secrets. He told her a few different things that weren't true, and finally told her the truth. And
with an ass's jawbone, I make asses out of my enemy.
Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty apropos. Anyways, back to the story.
Yeah.
I don't know if you fully read that.
Well, I don't think I read this one at all because I wasn't sure whether either of us were assigned this character yet, but I can do. The prince will welcome you, Lola. He has a special treatment for double crossers.
Struggling, she is dragged before the angry Diablo.
Did you think you could get away with this? The germ chamber? For you, my girl, Samson, will be disposed of later.
Roughly, Lola is rushed into the airtight room. And look at how big that nozzle is. That tank
Yeah.
is right there. Man,
Well,
they're
it doesn't
saturating
help.
that room with the
I get
germ.
to what they're trying to do, I think, but the that is not a right angle from that one wall to the other. Although I think they're trying to do some sort of fisheye or whatever with it, or what's called a fisheye, because they've got that room narrowing. So whoever built that room is not really good with his angles.
Just then, Samson finds the germ tanks and destroys them. These cans won't be of much use to those villains now. Okay, that's you right there, Rick.
What? The meter reads empty. What has happened to the tanks?
Suddenly, Samson's mighty fist smashes through the steel wall, and look, he grabs onto his throat there. Oh wait, I see what they're doing, but in a way, the way they drew that almost makes it look like Samson's got a webbed hand there. I see what they're actually doing. Basically, right here, but they got it so close to it, it almost looks like Samson's got a webbed hand there.
Yeah, the other thing too that's really wrong with this wall, I'm not sure how thick it is however thick it is. Samson can't, as far as I know, can't see through walls. He wouldn't even know the guy was there to grab his throat, let alone where his throat was. He's punching through this wall blindly.
Yeah. Well, you would think that you would think that if he couldn't see through the wall and he's punching through it, it's kind of funny how they went right to the fact they went to the open hand as if he was going to grab his throat, because with the point you just made, he would have just been punching right through, and if he was in line with the guy's throat, he would literally be crushing his larynx with that punch.
Yeah, and again, even with the way that unless he could hear the guy, but I don't think he'd be able to hear the guy. This wall, I would think it would be fairly thick, especially with these mechanisms in it. And especially with the way that's bent, that steel, I would expect a bigger hole and not for it to come out like that.
Even okay, if we were to go on the theory that the hole could have been bigger or should have been bigger, right? Well, if that's the case, then okay. So here's what based on what we've just been discussing here, something happened in midstream there where they may have had two separate thoughts that they tried to merge, because maybe they had the idea of him crashing through the wall and then grabbing the guy's throat, but they were making it look more like he was trying to punch through the wall, because if he was, let's say, forcing his hand through the wall like that to grab the guy's throat, it's possible that once he got, if he made the hole bigger, as you said, you thought maybe the hole should have been bigger than that, right? It wasn't big enough for him to see just exactly where his hand was going at that point.
Yeah.
The hole that small, you probably can't see, and of course he doesn't have X-ray vision. But But if the original intent was for him to punch through the wall and open up a hole big enough to where he could have seen what he was doing, that's possible. It's also possible, even though we don't see too much signs of it here, divine influence, right?
Yeah.
The idea that maybe God is guiding his hand to do what is being done.
But they don't tell you.
Well, because they don't really emphasize that aspect of it here.
Like what I would have done was him smash through the whole wall and then sees the guy there and then sees him.
Yeah.
But, sees him, grab him, in other words. Break through the wall. Oh, he's there. What luck. Let's snag him.
Well, Fishozo puts up an interesting, unless you could hear him.
Thanks for stopping by, Fitzfop.
Later to you. Yeah, hope you enjoyed the show, part of the show.
Yeah.
Unless you could hear. Well, it's possible, considering if he's got super strength, he might have super hearing too. I think it did say that he had, maybe like he did have enhanced like vision, hearing, and all that. That's possible. But if you look at that wall looks kind of like, I would say that looks kind of like a steel wall there. Depending on how thick it is, whether or not you could actually hear somebody through such a situation.
This is Fox Comics, right?
Fox Feature Syndicate. The same home as the early days of the Blue Beetle, which is a Mystery Men comic. We're just not reading Blue Beetle this time. You still there, Rick?
Yeah. This says his powers are due to, I grabbed it off Wikipedia. Samson, due to his relation to a biblical character, super strength, endurance, and invulnerability. He lost these powers if his hair was cut. These powers were restored once his hair regrew. Samson's hair grew at an accelerated rate, which in the Bible that didn't happen. You didn't get it back if.
So you went back and looked up the information, then, huh?
Yeah. Well, I just typed it in. Samson from Fox Comics. So he has no super hearing,
Yeah. Well, I was just throwing it out there as a theory.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was a good theory, but hey, I figured, okay, let's check it out. Let's find out. But anyways, I guess we should get on from this. I think we beat this horse really good.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it even says right there through the steel wall. So, anyways, in another moment, he dashes into the room and greets the prince with a resounding blow. Sacco! With an easy flip of his powerful arms, he sends Diablo into a tailspin. Prince Fernando Diablo? Mighty monarch, huh? Well, my royal friend, go down and rule among the microbes. Lola's frantic cries reach Samson. Help! Help! He releases her from the airtight chamber. Oh, Samson. Samson says goodbye to her back in Paris. You see, Lola, peace and order cannot be restored by power-greedy forces. Only the people themselves can save the world. You have taught me so much, Samson. Grateful throngs greet Samson. You must thank. Okay, so we'll alternate between all these people. Then I'll go.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Yeah, Samson.
Hooray!
Wait. I guess we did it the right way there. Wait, hold on a sec. You must thank Professor Broom for your escape from the deadly germs.
Come now, Samson. You're too modest.
Yeah, Samson!
Hooray for Professor Broom!
Two great men! Follow the further adventures of Samson in the next issue. Magic Comics is on sale the 10th of every month. All right, Rick. So, well, before I ask you the questions here, I was going to ask you, if you want to buy this art piece of the buckler I made by extension, supporting my endeavor, follow this link and VO5. Okay, all right. All right. So, Rick, overall impressions of the story.
I'm not really impressed with them. uh, I guess all right for a story. I don't think it is the best writing. Um, I'm not sure whether some of Fox's writing has gotten better or not. Um, I'm not.
Well,
Like we've talked about.
Three more features tonight, so I guess
Yeah. Well,
you'll have
as we've talked about,
that for yourself.
as we've talked about, over the whole, the industry has gotten uh, better for the writing. I don't think Samson is one that would prove that at this point, but
All right.
especially with that gaping hole or lack of gaping hole, I guess, in that wall.
All right. Anything more you want to add before we get ready to move on?
Not that I can think of at this point.
All right. So what am I doing? All right. So I'll go and I'll set up the next story. All right. So Wonder World. So the next story we're going to do is the Flame. The reason I picked this one for this week, I was actually thinking of doing Yarko this time because I know you like Yarko, but I realized we haven't done the Flame in a while. So
I don't mind. I don't mind the Flame either. Well, I of course have a character named the Flame.
Yeah.
Not connected with this one, and maybe I might put this. I might take this guy. I'm sure he's public domain, and I might make him one of my World War One heroes.
Yeah. Well, Rick, I need to step away from the camera for a moment, so I'll be right back. But why don't you talk to the chat? Maybe if you want to take the time to promote something while I'm away, go for it. I'll be right back.
Okay. So how are you tonight, Fitzchozo? Um. So, yeah, when were you wanting to possibly do this broadcast? Yeah, I get that. I've been that way too. In some ways, I still am. Maybe not as bad as I have been, but Wonderworld. I currently have it scheduled for Wednesday. What time Wednesday? 9 p.m. Eastern. Okay. I don't know. It's all about making fake beer brands. Booze that doesn't coming up with fake booze brands. Uh, said fake beer brands will appear in my comic. Oh, okay. A lot of times to do stuff like that, you just do a parody of names that thing. Like I came up, I used a buddy's name or part of a buddy's name for Walmart, and I called in mine Milmart. My buddy's last name was Milmine, so you know I combined the Milmine with the Mart of Walmart. Got Milmart. Um, Coming up in my comic universe, there's a comic universe for them guys to read. They don't read Marvel and DC. They read Merge Comics and maybe some other comics. But Merge Comics is DC and Marvel characters merged. Um, at least that's how I will try and do it for stuff like that. I'm not sure what you could do for uh, like I don't know what you guys have down there. I know what we have up here.
All right, I'm back. Let's see. Yes.
You could we have Molson Canadian. You could do Molson American. Labatt's Blue.
All right. So, anyways, so now as we're coming up on the hour mark here, so we're making good time thus far. Um, let's move on to Wonder World Comics. The Flame will be the next story we'll be featuring here.
Yeah, it's time to get a bit fired up, eh?
All right. 10 cents July, number 15, Wonder World Comics. The Flame leaps upon the scene, gun firing. Now there's an interesting beam, and just
Yeah.
totally it doesn't go straight; just twist around.
Well, it's supposed to be fire coming out of it, and
Yeah, right over the girl's lower part of her body there.
well, that's firing out. It is a little wacky how it moves, but yeah.
Yarko the Great, Spark Stevens, Patio Day. Now we do remember though that the flame does have some fire. He can at least travel to places through flame. That's one of the powers.
Yeah.
All right, The Flame by Basil Barold. An insane scientist, Dr. Bellows, has built a sanitarium in the dreaded Valley of Terror. He is conducting an experiment of converting men into birds. Bellows has captured a surgeon, Dr. Diarn, to force him to help in the scheme. All right. You want to? I'll let you be the flame this time. I'll be the villain.
Okay. So this is the Valley of Terror.
Yes, and my father is held captive there by Dr. Bellows. Actually, that's a woman. I'm sorry. Yes, and my father is held captive there by Dr. Bellows.
It's strange no other has ever heard of it.
No living soul has ever returned from this valley. Vulturemen, guardians of the Valley of Terror, watch the flame and Marine Diarn as they enter the valley. Now, Rick, you probably know why I'm saying it like that, right? You see the little apostrophe right there. That would also indicate that might be of a French spelling, if I understand correctly, right?
Yeah, well, it could be French, or it could be a few other languages too.
Well, Diarn, have you decided yet to be my assistant? You can be Diarn as well.
I'll never aid in your devilish work, you monster.
All right, okay. Diarn surprises the Vultureman as he goes into action.
I might as well make a contest of it.
While inside the sanitarium, fetch him out! I'll show him not to dispute me, the great Bellows. Diarn is no match for the feathered brutes. To the operating table! Fighting my Vultureman will do you no good. When he recovers, he may have a change of mind. Excuse me for a moment. I'm going to go off camera here one more time here. I'll be right back. All right, sorry about that. Anyways,
no problem.
Now to get back to this, go back to the story here. With a sudden surprise, the Vulturemen attacked the flame from behind, bringing him to the ground. Look out! Surprise party, huh? Oh, I'm sorry. You're the flame this time.
Surprise party, eh? If I could only get to my gun. Take that, you vulture.
The flame has brushed them off with his huge muscles, and is on his feet, blasting at them with his fire gun.
So the worm turns.
Marie Dearn is nowhere to be seen, after Vulturemen flee from the flame's gun.
Those devils? They have taken Maria with them.
All right, I think the one to the right is okay. So, while in the sanitarium, Marie is taken to her father's side.
Maria, what are you doing here?
Father, now maybe we can speak business or else. That's you, Rick.
Oh, oh, I'm the bad guy? I thought you were.
No, I've already speaking the bad guy
Oh,
below it.
oh, you win this time, Bellows.
I have a huge supply of water dammed up, hydraulic plant, and nothing can stop me. Your ability as a surgeon can transform more people into Vulturemen, and with these dumb creatures, I can rule the world.
And if I refuse to assist in your insane plan?
You forget, my friend, your daughter is a prisoner of mine. In a way, you look at this guy Bellows, right? Does he remind you of anybody?
Biden? Or what's the other guy? I forget the guy's
Well,
name.
a very similar looking comic book villain, one that we could have read last week when we were reading Fawcett.
Oh, Dr. Savannah?
Mm-hmm. Doesn't he kind of look like Savannah a bit? A bit. Granted, his head may be drawn a little bit differently, but he looks a little bit like similar design, not exactly the
Yeah.
same. Similar design there to Savannah.
Fitzchosen says, why doesn't he turn himself into a birdman? Because he doesn't want to be a mindless automaton that has to follow somebody's orders.
Dr. Bellows has an unseen visitor.
He has enough here to blow up the entire valley. This whole place must be destroyed.
While in the laboratory, Bellows has a gun drawn on Dr. Dearn. I'm anxious to see your handiwork, so hustle.
I think that's the last thing you want him to do.
The Vulturemen come to the aid of Dr. Bellows.
You should never force a man to perform an operation that makes him nervous.
Just love him about tactics. Oh, I'm sorry. That was you. I'm sorry. Again, the tail there looked more like it was the vulture saying it, but now that I think about it, the way they're
Yeah,
angling it, I think it's him.
yeah.
Sorry.
Just a few football tactics.
The enraged creatures charge the flame, and he meets their attack viciously. Even the flame is no match for my vulture man. The flame is subdued by the horde and is put in a cell with Mary. The flame is powerless. I have his flame gun now. Meanwhile, inside the cell, the flame awakens and finds Mary standing in front of him.
Mary.
Yes, they brought me here earlier. I have been waiting to hear from you.
There must be some way out of this mousetrap.
There's only one exit, the door, and that's locked. How enchanting the two of you will look with feathers grafted to your body.
I'm sorry, Doc, but I don't think we'll be here that long.
On the contrary, you forget that no living soul has ever left the Valley of Doom. Later that same night,
Well, I think that's you.
no, because they're saying, well, I was the bad guy, but oh wait, oh, Flame, come here. I guess
Somebody's asking
he's
him to
probably
come
her
to.
father. Now that I think about it.
Okay,
Oh
Flame, come here.
no, it's her father. So
Yeah,
it is
well,
her
I
father.
was doing her father's voice.
Oh yeah, that's right. You were doing her father's voice because of the fact. Yeah, because I was doing the bad guy. Okay.
Flame, come over here. Yeah, Darnie,
They aren't.
stay on. Yes, it's me. Here's your gun. I stole it from Bellows, Dr. Bellows.
Father?
Stand back, Durand. I'm going to blast the door.
Okay. I think it's pronounced they aren't.
Darn. Darn.
Yeah. They aren't, yeah. The fire gun melts the door as though it were paper. I think they meant to say though, but it looks as thought it were paper. But anyways,
I'm going to blast this place to Kingdom Come with Dr. Bellows and his vulture man. Marie!
oh father,
Come quickly. We have no time to lose. I'll make only three of them this time. I'll make quick work of them. He doesn't know how to count.
yeah, it does look like it's 4, not 3, but unless they're trying to indicate that one of them might be out of his peripheral range.
Yeah, but they're all in front of him.
Hiding Mary and Dayarn, the flame gets out to destroy the dam. Dr. Bellows and the vulture men are pursuing him with rocks. Stop him! Stop him! One of the vulture's boulders. Find the mark.
Ooh,
That's a small boulder right there. Look at that.
it's just a rock. Well, but it's his boulder, yeah.
The unconscious Flame is carried away by the swift current, while Mary and Dayarn wait in vain for his return. The meddling fool shall never bother me again. Now, to take care of the Dayarns. Mary and Dayarn are trying desperately to escape. Get them!
Come, let us get.
Come and get us.
Come and get us. Take that, you son of Satan.
The terrific impact of the skull kills Belos instantly. Oh wow! He must have had a very weak neck or something for it to snap like that. If that's what they're trying to imply there.
I think he just really got a point.
Hmm.
And I think he became horny very quick.
Meanwhile, the Flame, revived by the water, encounters Mary and Dayarn as they make their way back to freedom. Flame!
Hurry! To safety, I'm going to destroy the dam.
The Flame's gun shatters the dam, and the water rushes down on the valley below, destroying everything in its wake.
Truth and justice shall remain always.
Gee, Flame, you're so big and strong. You're wonderful.
Thanks, Mary. Doing anything for you was always a pleasure.
A little flirtation going on at the end there, huh?
Yeah.
Follow the Flame and his exploits in the next issue. Wonderworld Comics is on sale the 28th of every month. All right, so we're done with that story. Overall impressions, Rick?
What was better than the last one? Actually, not too bad. I definitely liked it. It seemed to flow a lot better.
All right.
Has a little bit better writing.
And let's see if it's the same. Why doesn't he turn himself? Oh, you were reading that earlier.
Yeah.
All mad scientists in the 40s look kind of similar.
Yeah, that's when you're saying about the bad guy looking like Dr. Savannah.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it for that. Anything more you want to say about it before we move on to the next story?
Nothing I can think of at this time.
All right, so we'll get ready to head over to Mystery Men Comics number 12.
Oh. And look what I bought yesterday. DVD. Star Trek, the animated series.
And
The Filmation DVD. Season 1 of the original series.
What did you do? Go to a Star Trek convention?
No, I went to a buddy's, and then there's a pawn shop type thing nearby, and they just had both of those in there. $15 Canadian for the animated series, and $30 for the original series, season 1.
All right. All right, so as I said, we'll get ready as soon as I get back this all the way up to the top, and we'll get ready to head over to Mystery Men Comics number 12, I believe. And with a green. Let me make sure. Yeah, Mystery Men Comics 12 and Weird Comics number 4.
I forget what, I'm not sure what issue it's supposed to be, but The Adventures of Superman, the one where I believe he comes back.
Uh huh.
I got two for $12.
Well, I'm going to need to step away again for a moment. So if you want to show off some stuff there for a few minutes, I'll let you go ahead and do that. I'll be right back.
I have not much else to show off. I've got a action figure from the dollar store or discount store from the He-Man Masters of the Universe series, Mosquitoette. It's the one where it's the CG animation. It's not the uh, what's his name, Kevin series. So yeah, and this thing here that you can see is my 3D printer. I just got it out of storage today. When I was going through my stuff the other day, I found it, but I wasn't able to bring it back. But after church, I went and got it and brought it up here. So I'm going to be hooking it up in the next couple days and using it. Okay, so I'm not sure what else to say. We'll wait for
Oops.
there's Mike back.
Yeah, I just kind of goofed hit the wrong thing there. Let's see now. There we go. So, anyways, let's see. All right. So the next comic here we're gonna do is 10 cent July issue number 12, Mystery Men Comics. The Blue Beetle. Oh, look at that! Ouch! The blue beetle grasped the whip and stopped the villain. Lieutenant Drake, Mothman, Green Mask. So, of course, we're going to go over to the Green Mask story this time.
Does he have a green mask?
Winter.
Tim Drake.
Rex Dexter.
Not that Tim Drake. What? And I'm not even sure what you're saying. Tim Drake Ford. Did anybody? I don't think either of us said Robin.
Mystery Men Comics, page 20. Let's see. The Green Mask.
By Walter Frame.
Mm-hmm.
Is he framing you?
Agents of a warring nation plot against the unsuspecting Americas and the Green Mask. Destroy all industrial plants. Steal gold from the Federal Reserve Bank. We must cripple the United States so she'll not meddle in the war. But above all, get the Green Mask before he spoils our plans. And then you want to do the thug right there?
Correct hit, boss. You're a good bomb thrower. I'm not sure. I guess it's the same guy. They're both wearing green, I think.
Yeah.
Francis Wise will not tell the police what he suspects.
The home of Thomas Henrik, the great refugee author, is raided and his daughter is kidnapped.
Your guy's still alive. He's not. He'll not talk with his daughter in our hands.
Father, if he does, we'll kill her. Thomas Henrik was found slugged. He's in a critical condition at the hospital. His daughter is missing. Hello, news. This is GM. Got some work for you. Go to the Polyclinic Hospital and listen to what Thomas Henrik says. In his coma, see you later. News Dokes listens at the bedside of Thomas Henrik. You want to do Henrik there?
Spare my daughter, boss. Don't shoot. Love scheme. Loveland Sky. Oh.
He's saying something. That's what he said. Who can Voss and Levinsky be? Foreign agents evidently looks like it's a plot to cripple the U.S. Listen. It's a remote chance, but it may work. Some barges are unloading bombers at South Street Dock. Paint circles on the top of all parked cars. within a mile. As the Green Mask predicted, South Street docks explodes, destroying the bombers and the barge. My hunch was correct. They've bombed the barges. That car is speeding away from the scene. I'll follow them. Oh, okay. I think I should have probably. All right. Anyways, kind of screwy sometimes the way they put these things together.
Yeah, that is for sure.
The auto stops at a cottage in the cove. Thanks for leading me to the hideout. All right, and I think that might be the lead guy there.
Here we are, boys.
That gang operated long enough. I'll bring the rats to justice.
The shipment of Obamas is destroyed.
I guess that's supposed to be coming out. Yeah, that's kind of weird because, okay, the way they got the tail on it, it's like I think it's coming out of the wall.
Yeah, it is. It's coming. They're showing Green Mask.
That might be the boss. Oh, wait, was I the boss?
I don't think either of us are the boss yet. I don't think they showed him yet.
Good. Haven't you heard from the Green Mask yet? He must be liquidated. Oh, I was the boss actually. Before we're saved enough to destroy that new cruiser that will be launched next week. We got a special treat for you. So have I. Happy Nightmare. You want to do that big bulking guy right there?
Same to you. Same to you.
Okay, hold on. I guess same to you. He's alive. He must have a neck of iron. We'll exterminate him later. Welcome, Mr. Green Mask. We're honored by your presence. Okay, it was somebody else I was doing before, but anyways. You'll regret it after I'm through with you. Shirine, you would threaten me? Boris, get the hat band. You bet. That's just the thing for him. The agents torture the Green Mask with their fiendish hat band. How do you like this? How do you like it, Mr. Green Mask? Comrade Rat, your torture ideas are quite stale. All right, bring the cat hands. Stop. 19, 20. Silence, daughter of swine. Another score to settle with you. You're too fresh. Bring me the dynamite. Now, Green Mask, we'll light the fuse and leave the dynamite with you. Haha. The conspirators leave the Green Mask to watch the sputtering fuse trickle toward the deadly charge. I need my strength as I never did before. Inexorably, the fuse sputters to destruction. Phew. Just 30 seconds more, and I'd have been in Kingdom Come. Still there, Rick? I know I haven't had you read in a while.
Oh, no problem.
While looking around the room, the Green Mask finds a notebook. What's this? Submarine off Cape Canaveral. Main base at Alton Island. Now to phone the Navy. Yes, it's true. You've got to believe me. Bring Dokes along. I'll let you do the Navy guy there.
Wait, it's fantastic. But in the light of recent events, it sounds true. We'll do as you ask.
It sounded like your mic went out there for a moment.
Do you need me to read it again?
Why don't you try reading again and see what happens?
It's fantastic, but in light of recent events, it sounds true. We'll do as you ask.
A flotilla of destroyers raced through the night for Cape Canaveral, and a squadron of Army flyers joined the hunt. I hope we're not too late. I have a bone to pick with Mr. Voss and his comrades. Off Cape Canaveral, destroyers drop depth bombs. A short time later, there is a terrific blast, and the agent submarine goes to the bottom. Led by the scout plane, the flotilla drops their cargo of death and destruction. Bang! Himmel.
Himmel, the submarine. The girl will kill her now.
Your father talked too much. You'll pay for his crime against my country. Thank heavens you're alive. It was you who talked any objections. With the conspirators unconscious, the Green Mask steers the boat to a nearby destroyer.
It says, here's some turkey breakfast for you.
You want to do the
Who is he?
Why, he's the Green Mask. Now to radio the editor with what a story. I'll be seeing you in the next issue. Mystery Men Comics is on sale the 15th of each month. All right, Rick. So, overall impressions.
Pretty good. This is one of the ones that, well, it's been going a while. I think all three stories have been going a while, but I don't know why the first one bombed so much tonight. But these ones, I'd say, are doing better than the first one.
Well, I don't think we've read Samson in a while, so that's one of the other reasons why. Well, aside from the fact and the Christian imagery of like plot of Diablo and all that. All right, so now we'll go to Weird Comics number 4 and go through the Voodoo Man feature. Let's see.
Voodoo Man?
Mm-hmm.
Voodoo Man. Okay. I'm just taking my headphones off while you get that set up. I'm still going to be in the room. Moving a couple things around.
All right.
Actually, might be gone for a minute. I gotta go to the washroom.
All right.
And I am back.
All right. Here we go. Voodoo Man. I think I'll have you do Voodoo Man this time.
Okay.
Bob Warren encounters a sinister attempt by the Grand Zombie to enslave the people of Jackmel, and also Lydia, the pretty daughter of Reverend Williams. I have a message from the president, Dr. Warren. He wants to see you immediately. Dr. Warren, reports have arrived on the village of Jackmel. That a mysterious and deadly disease has broken out there. The people are dying by scores, and the whole village is terrified. We are sending you to investigate.
I'll be glad to do anything in my power, Mr. President.
Good. When you get there, see Reverend Williams. He'll give you all the details.
We should be in Jackal in 2 hours. Hey, what's that?
Bob, where are you?
Well, are you hurt?
No, just stunned. I'll be all right in a minute.
That was no accident.
You're right. Somebody did that on purpose. Look, Bob. Look at that tree.
Okay, I'm not sure who that's for. I'll do it.
I think
The
it's
tree
Bob.
is
I think it's you.
the tree is changing into a human form. Go back, beware of the horse's skull. Go back, go back. It is your last warning. Beware.
Say, Bob, what is the horse's skull?
It's a symbol of the voodoo religion. Come on, let's get out of here.
Bob and Ralph reach the village of Jackmel.
Where does Reverend Williams live?
Down the road, in the hut with the cross on it.
Dr. Warren, and this is my friend, Dr. Morton.
How do you do? You came just in time, Doctor. Oh, by the way, let me introduce my daughter Lydia.
Hello. I see where this business is going to be a pleasure.
She doesn't look too impressed, though, does she?
Yeah, she could be, she could not be. And now, Reverend, let's hear the whole story.
It's a very strange disease, something like epilepsy. The victim is suddenly seized with a fit and is dead in a few hours. All regular treatment is useless. We don't know what to do.
Anything else?
Yes, all the dead victims mysteriously disappear before we have a chance to bury them. Reverend Williams, save me, save me. What is it? It's my wife, Manda. She died last week. Well, what are you getting excited about it now for? Because she's come back. See, she's come back to life. In the meantime, the Grand Zombie is holding sway over his slaves. I believe that's you, right
Oh,
there.
okay. Well, this is a new character. That's why I wasn't sure. Pretty sure this. It won't be long before my dear, before all the people of Jackal will be in our power. That rare poison we put in their wells will gradually destroy them all.
And after they are dead, we use our voodoo powers to bring them back to life as our slaves. It's too bad Dr. Warren escaped our trap, but our spies will keep us informed. Your Majesty, Manda has escaped.
You fool! How did that happen?
She was working in the fields with the rest of us. Well, when I suddenly saw that she was gone,
She is probably lost. I will bring her back at once.
the Grand Zombie exerts his willpower to make Manda return. Back in Jackmal,
Don't go near her. I think she's under a voodoo spell. She's going back. Come on, let's follow her.
the willpower of the Grand Zombie begins to work on Manda, and she turns and walks back to the palace. So I should have probably read that before, but anyways, Manda unconsciously leads Bob and his friends to the palace of the Grand Zombie. It's the Grand Zombie. I've heard of him, but didn't know he was operating in the neighborhood. What do we do?
We must get the Grand Zombie. Once he's dead, his spell's over. The others will be broken.
Bob opens his hip bag and takes out glass receptacles filled with ether.
You people stay here and cover the rear. I'm going after Voodoo Man. Hey, nice way to treat a guest. This either will fix you.
I think you were supposed to say Warren first. You were the Grand Zombie. Over.
Oh, Warren.
Let's see.
And
Go ahead.
so
Yes.
you're the one responsible for all these deaths.
Oh. Taking careful aim, Bob fires at the Grand Zombie. He being dead, the slaves begin their normal, regain their normal selves and return to their loved ones. Oh wow, that kind of went quickly.
Yeah.
All right.
Quick resolve. A little force at the end, but actually, I think it was all right.
Overall impressions?
Not too bad. It's the first time we were reading that. I don't know who the voodoo. It says Voodoo Man, but that seems named after the villain, not the hero.
Well, there were some features that where the villain was actually the feature instead of
And the villain seems to be dead, so I don't know.
Or maybe that's just what. Maybe Dr. Warren's the actual hero in the story, and he just calls Voodoo Man. Calls his adversaries Voodoo Man or something like that. All right. So with that being said, I think that was the last of the stories we were going to read for tonight. Kind of did go a little quicker than I thought it would. But with that, so I've already gone over each of them individually. So of the 4 stories that we read tonight, which one would you say was the one you liked the most?
I'm probably gonna say the flame. It just seemed to flow real good. Well, it's almost tied with the third one as well, but they both seem to really flow really good, and all that seemed to keep you interested enough. Although I was falling a bit of asleep, but not sure whether you
that might have been the one where I had taken over a good chunk of the story too, reading that.
Yeah, but I liked it. Yeah, sure. The one picture on the front, the flame manipulating. You didn't really seem to travel through flame in that one. But hey,
I think this was one of those cases where, because they did talk about this before when I read the intros too, where some aspects of the lore were inconsistently applied.
yeah,
Right.
or not applied in this case.
On the flame there as the one you like the most.
Yeah.
All right. So now, of course, the next question is, and I think I already know the answer to this one, but I could be wrong. Of the remaining 3 stories, which one did you like the least and why?
Well, we're gonna have to go with the first one.
Samson.
The what was it called?
Samson was the name.
Oh yeah, Samson. Yeah, because it's a good premise. I think even we read it before, and I'm not sure whether I said this then, but it's just terribly executed, in my opinion. For yeah, I get the whole thing of inherited and all that, but these people didn't seem to read their Bible. And he just doesn't really look what I would consider Samson to look like, but and like we had that one gapping hole in the story, or lack of thing, that metal thing where he's punching through a wall and he grabs the guy out of nowhere. And then they act like that. Then if I never said anything, then the next couple panels they don't even act like there's a hole. Somehow he got his whole body into the whole place. There's one little hole.
Yeah, I mean, we had our theories of what they were trying to do, but yeah, that kind of was pretty noticeable.
Yeah, they're suspending disbelief, and then this one just really. It was a disbelief. You'd have to suspend disbelief that you could drive. I'd say a Mack truck, but no, you have to be able to fly the Starship Enterprise through it.
Yeah. All right. So, anything more you want to say about the stories you read before we move on?
Not that I can think of it this time.
All right. So, with that, then we're going to go ahead and move on to. We're going to start to wrap things up and move on to this day in each history. Today is, of course, Sunday, May the 11th, 2025. So let's take a look back at this week. I'm sorry, not day. This weekend in Nietzsche history. History! So first off, I'm going to go back to yesterday here. I'm going to go back to about 8 years ago yesterday, 2017. On yesterday's date, back in 2017, 8 years ago, the first issue of Regression from Image Comics went on sale on yesterday's date. 8 years ago, it sold for $3.99. Was 28 pages, and from what I read, it ran for something like 15 issues. That's why I focused on it.
Just over a year.
Right.
So I wonder how much you had to regress to read it.
So with that, 8 years ago yesterday, the first issue of Regression from Image Comics went on sale. Now, getting ready to move on to today's date. First, I'm heading back 40 years ago today.
Oh, only one thing from yesterday. Wow.
Yeah. On this date, 40 years ago today. The WWF's Saturday Night's Main Event debuts on NBC, bringing pro wrestling back to broadcast network TV after a 30-year absence. And what they're talking about there was back in the early days of television, back in the late 40s, early 50s, right? It kind of died out by the mid 50s. A lot of the local stations would air local wrestling cards. So, like, for example, if you were in New York, you'd get, like, Capital Wrestling,
Although it was WWF, I remember that sort of in the 80s. The local channel here, I think it was every Saturday, they aired 3 or 4 hours of wrestling.
Well, that would have been more syndicated program. What they're talking about here is broadcast television. Usually a lot of the syndicated wrestling shows were picked up by, usually it would be the independent station. So I don't know if it would, how much the same it was up in Canada, but here in the States, you had your three networks of ABC, CBS, and NBC. And then you had a few other independent, like you had PBS, you had the PBS stations, you had TVN, and then you had other stations that were classified as like independent. And they would usually get syndicated programming. They would basically get the rights to, rebroadcast shows that had been previously aired, like on primetime or something like that.
Yeah.
And of course, wrestling was along with cartoons and all that, was usually the thing. And then by the late 80s, they were starting to do like first run syndication, where instead of premiering on the networks and then rerunning later, you'd have shows that were considered like first run syndicate, like He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, for example, Ghostbusters, Centurion, that kind of thing. So, but on this date, 40 years ago today, Saturday Night's Main Event, WWF Saturday Night Main Event, debuted on NBC. So, now moving on to the final piece of niche history. As we move ahead to the year 2010 on this date, 2010, 15 years ago today. A movie, Kung Fu Magoo, premiered in movie theaters on this date back in 2010, 15 years ago today. Of course, featuring Mr. Magoo, who was originally created by Miller Kaufman and John Hubley.
And it was voiced by Thurston Howell III. Or his,
no.
Well, the original.
Yeah, he was in the original. He was voiced by Jim Backus.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. The original was obviously Jim Backus was dead by this point, unfortunately.
Right.
So
who voiced Mr. Quincy Magoo in this movie was Jim Conroy. With some other names that were Allison Stoner voiced Lorelei Tun-Goo, Justin's love interest and daughter of Tun-Goo. Roger Bumpass, or Bumpass, depending on how you say it. I want to say it. As General Smith, an army general who plans to launch an attack on the island. Kenny Mayne as himself, Tom Kenny as Dr. Malicio, Miley Flanagan, who is known for doing the dub voice of Naruto, as Orangu Tammy. Gorliana was voiced by Candy Milo. Jennifer Hale did Agent L. Leslie Destructo. So, 15 years ago today, Kung Fu Magoo premiered in movie theaters from Classic Media. So, with that being said, thank everybody for being here tonight. So, before we go, of course, I'm going to give Rick a chance to do any promotional work he wants to do. Promote his channel, anything ready. You know the shtick.
Yeah. Well, tomorrow night, 6:00, I will be doing my show, Lesser Known Bible Stories, where I'll be drawing up some lesser known Bible stories. Hopefully we'll be doing getting a page done for the story of Ehud. So, yeah, hopefully that's done in the next couple of weeks. Well, actually, this second pass, anyways, on the story of Ehud will be done, hopefully, in the next couple of weeks. Then it's starting a third pass.
There's also trying to promote something. So
yeah, he's.
So with that, I thank everybody for being here. Rick, if you can stick around for a moment, just for post show kind of thing.
Yeah.
We're of course going to be. We'll be back here tomorrow night with all the latest and niche news. Maybe I'll have some more details on Sabu's passing, as I reported on earlier tonight. He was 60 years old. That's one thing I can say. But they haven't released the cause of death yet. So with that, I thank everybody for being here. And I will see you all tomorrow.
Remember, it's just a day away.